one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Kelly is unable to be here tonight, so I apologize in advance if this doesn't run as quickly as a typical meeting, but I'll do my best to keep it moving. We'll start with roll call. Larry Fiddler. Greg J.
Here.
Brandon Kankak here. Bryce Howe.
Here.
Scott Stierwald.
Here.
Additions, deletions to tonight's agenda?
Mr. President, acting clerk treasurer,
Yes, sir.
could I please add an agreement under old business for approval?
Under where?
Old business.
Agreement?
Yep. Approval of agreement.
I would like to add, under claims and transfers, item D, as in David, service pump and machine. And I would also like to remove, under communication, town marshal, first line item, Tahoe repairs. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, at this time, we'll open up the public hearing for the 2024 budget for comments from, or questions and comments from the public or council members. At this time, it is open. Okay, no questions. I will close this hearing. And we will move on to approval minutes for the August 8th, 2023 regular meeting. Is there a motion for that?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This moves us to claims and transfers. And then Greg, if you could just keep this stack down at your end for me.
I will.
Thank you. Claims and transfers, general, $724,734.52.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Water, in the amount of $95,235.53. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wastewater, in the amount of $96,130.72. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, $49,324.94. Motion? Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
WTH Technology invoice number 30179. That is in the amount of $3,092.50. If there are no questions, I would ask council for approval on that.
What is this for?
Oops.
Just a website?
Is that WTH?
Yep.
That's our GIS.
Okay. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This brings us to the service pump and machine invoice. Invoice number, but it is in the amount of $8,290. If there are no questions, I would like to ask council for approval.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, moves us to Mr. Hall.
You've all got your monthly packets, the numbers are staying about the same. We did hire a new officer for night shift as we lost one. He come to us from the sheriff's department, he was a reserve there. His name's Trevor Lee. He's doing really well, he's pretty far along in his training already. The Back to Blues coming up next month, the 5K's coming up next month. We need vendors, if anybody's interested in being a vendor. Conflict of interest.
We did receive Kent Goldman's conflict of interest report. It still needs to go in front of the council to accept. I believe it's in your packets. If not, I have a copy here if you want to look at it. If the council wants to accept it, we do need to vote on it tonight. Or not to accept it.
You want to go ahead and explain for the public what that's in regards to?
So, I can, absolutely. Kent Goldman is a reserve officer for the town of Cloverdale. He also works for Andy Moore Ford, who we purchase vehicles from. Recently, the town of Cloverdale had a audit done, and this is one of the items that, first of all, let me take a step back. There were very few items that the town of Cloverdale got deemed done, but this is one of them, and we've asked Kent to fill out the report for the audit, and he has. So.
And he indicated on that he receives no financial compensation for the sale.
He's saying he receives no commission or anything like that from the sale of vehicles.
That is correct. He has no financial interest.
Gain.
Okay.
All motion, we go ahead and accept it.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You want to talk about the lease renewal? Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. The current lease renewal with, again, Mr. Kent Goldman expires on September 19th, 2023. So I'm asking council to either accept renewal of a new year-long contract or terminate.
What's the current cost to the town for his,
I think it's 150 annually, but that, I'm sorry, 120 annually. That does not include wear and tear, insurance, gas, that's,
Repair, everything.
and we're responsible for that.
we are.
Our other reserves. Well, A, do we have a vehicle for reserves to drive? And B, do our other reserves?
Currently, no, but we're gonna try to fix that tonight.
Okay.
Currently, his is the only reserve vehicle, but he's the only one that operates it.
So I would say hold the decision on that until after we,
Do we have any idea this year, as far as, I know Kelly's not here, but this year, what that vehicle cost us, wear and tear, fuel? Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to hold until we get to this. I'm guessing this Taurus is what we're talking about?
and I'm gonna second that.
So you want to,
No.
Not make
No.
a decision on,
I'm listening, go ahead.
not make a decision on Kent's lease until we determine vehicle status for the reserves.
It's up to 19th, so, I mean, it's basically
That's-
7 days away and it's
Yeah.
up.
But
That's what-
let's go back to even later in this meeting until we determine our vehicle status.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're just wanting to bring this up at the end of the meeting?
basically, I want to know what our vehicle status is.
Fair enough.
And
We'll-
then possibly
We'll come back to it.
have any idea of what we're spending a year on. I mean, 120 isn't much, but wear and tear, fuel, all
The
that.
lease of the vehicle is the cheapest
Yeah.
portion of that.
But, I mean, if we have in my opinion, if we have a vehicle that is
That's ours.
able for reserves, why are we spending more money? In my opinion.
Okay, we'll come back to it. The SRO second vehicle purchase. We have a quote from Andy Moore. So it means I get the actual number pulled up. Per contracts for the second SRO for South Putnam Community Schools, we have received a quote in the amount of $18,949.30 for a 2015 Ford Taurus Police Interceptor, which comes under barely just budget, or what was budgeted. Looking for council approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Now with that, that will alleviate the SRO2, he's currently driving the reserve car.
So we will have a
So
reserve.
that will be our,
Rotated to the fleet.
back into our reserve pool. Correct.
So then, back to that, it's my opinion, if, I mean, $120 isn't anything, but, I mean, it's something, but I'd wanna know what the wear and tear in the yearly fuel budget is for a car that's not ours. Do we have any idea?
Currently, no. I know he works about once a month, and that's usually when he fills up when he works that night.
Well, then I'll make a motion to table this until next meeting, and if he is going to work a shift, he uses the reserve car until then. And then when Kelly can give us exact numbers on what that's costing the town, then we'll revisit it. That's my motion.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we're using his car 1 day a month for 120 plus maintenance, fuel, insurance. I'm almost inclined to say for 1 day a month, we could use our car.
I'll motion to table it until next month, and if he wants to work a shift before then, he can use our car, and then when Kelly's back, she can get us exact numbers, and we'll vote on it next meeting.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
the 09 Taurus.
I'm taking notes if you want to go ahead, or I can talk.
It's just an asset car that we have no use of. We just get rid of it.
So I spoke to Mr. Shagley prior to tonight's meeting.
And for the town to get rid of the vehicle, or really anything, you have to declare it surplus, which is a simple motion tonight that you reported in 2009 Taurus is surplus property, and then you can sell it. A common way is to advertise, to accept bids, close bids, up until 5 p.m. of our next meeting. And then the next meeting, we open up the bids at a public meeting, and the highest bid gets bid. And you can put in the notice, the language that you reserve the right to reject all offers if you only get one for $1. Then we can look at a different way of selling it. But that's a common practice, easy. What I personally like about it is it gives the town we pay for it, someone in the town the opportunity to buy it. You could send it off to an auction, you could send, sell it online or whatnot, but then someone else is getting a deal on the vehicle. It's just nice to kind of keep it local.
I'll make a motion to declare it surplus at council's recommendations. However, town council reserves the right to make sure it is a fair deal in order of the town before the sale.
Second that.
To accept bids,
To,
to sell by
To
closed
accept
bids.
or reject.
Yeah, correct. And to sell by closed bids, okay, yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bids will be accepted until 5 p.m. next town council. I thought Jason was gonna write all this, but apparently not.
We can talk,
Well, you started writing, so I thought you were doing it.
we can talk about it.
We'll go back and watch it. We'll go back and watch it on YouTube. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, it's all you.
I'm done.
Bennington Way, I assume that all of you have been up to Bennington Way. We're real close. There is traffic on Bennington Way. The final coat of pavement is there. There are a few little things that they're still addressing. There's a little section of sidewalk that we need concrete for, a little section of wall, retaining wall on the east side of Bennington Way that still has to be erected. The entrance, the bypass entrance that was going through the McDonald's lot has been shut back down. The concrete curbs there are gonna be replaced tomorrow. So I would say within the next 5 days, they will be completely wrapped up there. They do still have some seeding of grass and some things like that we're probably not gonna see for a while. But it's, and then there's the lining of the road, a street sign, stop sign. So there are a few little things happening there, but the traffic is using that. I think everybody has been pretty happy with the final product so far.
I definitely encourage the public that if you have not been up by Beagle Club and Bennington Way, please do so. It's really coming together. It's definitely sprucing up the area, obviously. Looks really nice. So, yes. Thanks for the update on that, Jason.
54 North Lafayette Street. I actually emailed Jim Inslee today, the county attorney. I've not heard back from him, I just checked my email.
Shocker.
At the end of August is when we were supposed to, that was supposed to be turned over to the courts to decide if they were going to be deeding that property to the town. So it may or may not have happened at this point, I'm not real sure, but I did inquire about that today, and I'll let you know as soon as that happens. It's just been a long process to get that done. The next thing we have is the Beagle Club water main bid acceptance. At this point, I can turn it over to Eric Smith with HWC. We did receive a couple of bids, or 3 bids on that were opened, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, and Eric can fill you in on this.
Is that microphone on here?
Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, as Jason said, we accepted bids last week for the first phase of the I-70-231 interchange water system improvements. To refresh, that project is being funded by READY funds and is intended to extend a 10-inch water supply main from Tower Road across 231, across I-70, and then connecting to some relocated main on the north side of I-70 along 231. We pulled this section out because it's actually in the area where Beagle Club Road is going to be constructed as part of the second phase of the community crossings work in that area. And we received 3 bids, and the low bid was $156,748.80, and there's a bid tab attached to your letter. The second bid was $220,809, and the third bid was $322,445. The project was intended to be directionally drilled to help reduce the amount of pavement that would be disrupted, even though we are still going to restore and reconstruct a lot of the pavement in that area with the pavement project. We gave the contractors the option to also open cut. The 2 low bidders were using the open cut method. The third bidder was the directional drill. The low bidder was Jammer Excavating. There were several items that were either missing or not complete in their bid. I won't go through all of them, but Form 96 was attached but didn't have a financial statement. It wasn't signed or notarized. It was missing the bidder's qualification to do business in the state of Indiana, E-Verify certification, SAM certification, signed certification regarding debarment, suspension, and inability and voluntary exclusion, and they used the wrong bid form. So there was a litany of things that was wrong. In our opinion, it could deem the bid non-responsive, and you need to award to the lowest responsible bidder. We did share that review with the town attorney for his concurrence. We would entertain pending legal opinion that the second low bidder would be the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $220,809, and that would be Foyt's Construction.
Yeah, first I want to thank Eric and his team for putting this together. After reviewing the bids, I was surprised by the amount of missing items, which was kind of concerning. You know, if you missed parts of the bid, there's just so many minnows. And I would agree with HWC in their evaluation of the bid as non-responsive. And I too would agree that you have justification for striking the low bid and going to the next highest bidder. In this matter.
The construction, just for reference, all of the construction costs are being paid for by READY.
Yeah.
Council, any questions?
So there is absolutely no possibility that if we would go to the second highest bid, the town will be financially responsible for any of it.
I would agree with that.
Well, I'm gonna be very frank.
Yeah.
We went over a lot of things, and there was a change request that was made here last week about the retaining wall and everything up there. Now it could possibly cost the town $17,000 more. Why was that never brought up to anybody? Don't understand that at all. B, we've got to get, it was brought up by a vendor in town who works all over the country, and we brought it up in a meeting here, that the town's requests and site plans and things like that are absolutely horrible. And that's why we constantly have so many change requests. So I want to know, A, you know, the retaining, we know what we're talking about, the retaining wall, extending it on both sides. Why that was not in the original plans, and why now we're talking $17,500 more to the town for that. But just like this, are we confident that if we agree to the second high bidder, are we not gonna have another $17,500 change?
Well, this is part of a project that also includes the second phase, which is the rest of the water main going up. So there is a second piece of this that will have to bid and be constructed. It's all based on unit prices. You know, I don't see, it's a pretty simple project. It's the water main is being installed ahead of the road reconstruction. I wouldn't anticipate there being any change orders. So I wouldn't see there's any risk to the town, but, you know, depending on what happens, there are always the opportunities for unforeseen conditions when you're digging.
I get it, but, you know, like that retaining wall, if you go up there now, I don't know how in the world that was ever missed.
I can't answer that, but I can certainly get you an answer. That was,
I mean,
I don't think that he's even aware that we've decided to extend the retaining wall. I don't think we've had that conversation.
was that even in the original design?
no, that's what, and I don't get it, because
After the design, I think everybody was agreeing that it needed to extend.
Okay.
There wasn't anything that needed engineering, so you were even okay with
Okay.
which part.
When did it all come to light? This is the first.
about a week ago.
Oh.
Last Friday.
Yeah, it was
Or Friday before.
Friday before, but we just started talking about it last week.
There is always, as Eric mentioned, when you're digging in the ground, you're gonna find something.
I mean,
But there's no
Understand.
anticipated change orders.
Unless,
Unless it's requested.
and I get that. My only problem is that retaining wall, I don't know how that could ever have been missed. I mean, it's just, it's quite frankly ridiculous. So, I just want to be aware we've got all our i's dotted and t's crossed and all that.
I will drive by there tonight, I'm kind of curious.
We're going 12 feet towards the day's end north and 4 foot south.
Okay, there's already existing.
There's existing, and we're out.
Oh,
It's actually, we're gonna go all the way to the sidewalk north and 12 feet to the south, and we're stopping there.
Okay.
For hopes that a future developer either wants to finish retaining wall to the drive, or they'll be up to them.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, so going back to the matter at hand here,
Motion.
for,
Go with the second.
motion for Foyt's in the amount of $228,09.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
I do have a notice of award that can be signed. We will issue it to the contractor. And the contract's moving, those are the original bids. I would keep those on file.
Do we return that check?
Yes.
Eric, these are just copies, correct?
I need one to send to the contractor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, these are
Yeah,
just duplicates.
it's two of the same thing, yes.
2 or 3.
3.
Thank you. Here you go. Thank you, sir. All right. Jason?
This is North Main Street, the sewer, excuse me, sewer main extension. This is for the development that is planned on North Main Street, on the west side of North Main Street. We had that engineered, actually, the redevelopment commission had paid for the engineering about a year ago. We also had some easement acquisition that occurred about a year ago. We've been waiting for this development to show me some site plans before we went forward with doing this Wastewater main, I do actually have the plans. They have also been sent to the state for approval. So it appears that they are moving forward. I did get 2 quotes as you requested. I had a quote for $92,000. Let me make sure I have that. 90.
Is this in our packet?
No, I don't think so. $92,010. And then we have the original bid that I brought at the last meeting for $40,000 from Jammer. Now, in this case, Jammer is not required to provide all those same documents because this is not any federal or state funding. So they could be hired to do this project.
Does anybody have any questions, or do we want to make a motion to award this work?
Redevelopment has committed funds towards this, and I think I should look at, but it was like $2,000 towards this, so it would be about $32,000 to the wastewater utility.
Make a motion to go ahead and work.
In for the
40,000.
40,000? Okay.
Yeah.
Motion for the, that's Jamar, right? For $40,000. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And to put you at ease, they have done work for us that we've been, I think in that case, that's their first big project, and they just really have their ducks in a row for that big quote. Next thing we have is the town hall parking lot. At the last meeting, you asked me to invite or speak with 2 different engineering firms, HWC and United. Both are here tonight. I don't know how you want to address this. What I've talked to both of them today is that they've given a short little presentation,
I
tell you what they have to do if you have questions, or if you want to explain to them what you're expecting of them.
I think that'd be great.
And I guess it doesn't matter. Eric, do you want to go first, or Lauren, or whichever wants to jump up first? You're closest. Lauren, you guys can, if you guys want to right after them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in talking with Jason, we worked on developing a proposal to address some of the deficiencies, I guess, with the city hall or the town hall site. There's some issues with parking, there's some, a lot of depreciation with the concrete structures and sidewalks. There's some drainage issues, traffic and pedestrian flows are some things that need to be looked at. But I don't think you really know exactly how you want it to look or how you want the layout to be. So what we had kind of thought about in our proposal is to do, the first thing you do is a conceptual design phase. In that, we would work with developing 2 to 3 concepts, looking at different access, looking at parking, meeting with the town staff to see what do you want to be improved with the town hall parking. You know, what doesn't work? You know, is the drop-off payments, the routes for traffic in and out, how can we make that better? We would work with our site development group and develop these concepts, pull in our landscape architect team to develop something, 2 or 3 options. We could then refine those. Once we've got an option that is basically the selected plan by the town, then move into the actual design and getting bidding documents ready for building it and managing the design and the construction phase and the bidding of the project. We've got a very robust land development team that does a lot of site planning all across the state. This is something we do regularly. We will have survey crews out here for the stormwater project, so we'll be able to handle that part of it very easily and could do it cheaply because we'll have crews in the area, quite frankly. So our plan would be to start with a concept, very interactive process with the town to try to get some ideas out there to really generate a plan that works well for you.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Hey everyone, just want to introduce myself. I haven't met everyone here. My name is Lauren Gansky. I'm with United Consulting Engineers. I'm new to the organization, just started this year, so I've been covering, getting to know the Crawfordsville area, and so Jason and I have been talking for a while, as well as your council president. We came out and had a meeting and did a site visit 3rd of August, just to walk around with our transportation director. Jeremy was there, just to see what ideas we might have, and I can kind of let Jeremy speak to what we've brought today as well.
Sure. I don't know that it's gonna be too much different than what Eric just got up here and said. The only difference is when we do projects like this, we try to get a scope nailed down first, try to understand what you guys want before we dig in and start doing a bunch of design. So our proposal is probably much smaller because it's just an upfront, let's meet, let's talk about it, let's throw out some options, let's figure out what you want. And once we figure out what you want, put some cost to it so you can figure out what you're willing to pay for and what you can afford. And then we'll provide you a proposal to design and get it finished and get it out to construction. So that's really probably the only difference between what we do. But like I said, we try to, our philosophy has always been to, if we do enough homework on the front end, then we reduce the changes on the design side. So if we know what we're getting in before we get started, then we don't have something come up that we gotta ask you for more money for or whatever. And we've had it pretty well nailed down before we start. So yeah, I mean, I can answer any questions you have or anything like that.
I would ask that both Eric with HWC and you guys with United, I know, like mentioned, you met with Jason and myself. We even got Adam's input as well. Eric, I asked that, for this project, we do the same to get what Jason's needs are, or what we think is gonna be best for the public pertaining to the parking lot. And please get with Adam as well, to try to keep this as verbal, saying apples to apples, okay? I personally, I don't have any questions, council members.
Pretty early to.
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
Well, I think we're just asking them both to submit a proposal
That's
on
it.
how they're gonna do it and the cost involved in each phase.
So my motion would be to get with Jason, council president, and Adam on needs of the parking lot and make sure everyone's on the same page, and then both submit proposals accordingly.
I don't think we need to vote on that. I mean, that's what we're asking both engineer forms to do right now. It's just submit, United's gonna submit theirs, HWC is gonna submit theirs. I'm just asking that Eric, obviously, talk to Jason, Adam, myself, any council member, Kelly, whomever.
So would we then do some of this interactive meeting to kind of get a scope tied down and then revise our proposal to incorporate what everybody wants?
So you're asking, take your idea with our ideas and put it all on paper?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we wanna see.
But basically, I need to work with Adam, you, Jason.
Fair enough.
And Kelly.
And Kelly.
And Kelly.
Fair enough.
Is there typically a contract to do that, though? Or is this, would you typically,
From our end, yes, there would typically be a contract to do that because we'll bring in our designers. You know, right now it's been me and Warren, and I will look at it, but I'm not the one that's gonna be pushing paper when it comes to it. So I want those guys to see it, hear it from your mouth, and understand what you're trying to get at. You know, any improvements you're trying to make to the building, any improvements to access, anything that you might want to include in that. So when they get to start drawing and scribbling, they're in the right realm right off the bat.
We actually have that conceptual design phase in our proposal as a task to really develop that.
Both groups are gonna, they're not gonna design something without the input of.
Correct.
I think we just really need a number, how much is gonna cost for you to come up with the plan? And how much is gonna cost for you to help with the bidding and the construction of the plan?
Right, and I think that what we've provided is how much to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
And once we have the plan, what we haven't provided is the cost of surveying and design and inspections.
Did you say you have come up
We
with?
have not done that. Okay. Our intent was to do this process, figure out what you want, and then give you a proposal.
So the council, you're okay with next meeting, they provide a number to get us a plan? It's like 2, 3, is that what you do?
Yeah, a couple of options, kind of walk through it.
Okay.
You know, I think we'll probably hone in pretty quickly, because I think you guys have a good idea of what you want.
Can we both have something to us by October meeting, or is that?
You have ours, so
Oh, okay, is that would be?
it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah. We have something today.
Yeah.
I also here have examples of previous site design work that we've done, enough for everyone if you would like them. Leave behind, so.
Is there a number in yours, or you still need to give us a number on the initial?
We did, we gave Jason a number today.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're already there, oh.
Yeah.
So I go before-
Well, the difference,
Yeah, but
the
I didn't
difference is,
realize we were even. I really wasn't sure where the council, how we want to proceed with this, so I can get that and have that all out ready for the next meeting. if we want to do that.
I think, yeah, absolutely, we need to.
And we feel confident that with the timeline that we can knock this out, should you go with United in time for you to get everything that you need to get done to pass your budget this year, so.
Any questions? Thank you guys very much.
Thanks.
All right, ADA transition plan.
Eric, I'm gonna put you on the spot, if you didn't even know we had this on the agenda probably. But this is the 88 transition plan, are you familiar with those at all?
Yeah.
This came from Brian. Apparently we do, we do have to keep our ADA transition plan active, even if we're not gonna go in for CCNG, Community Crossing Matching Grant. We do have to keep it active this year. I do have a contract for your consideration, again, if you want to.
It's a new NDOT requirement to keep that up to date, to continue to be eligible for community crossing.
So, we last did this in 2020. How often does this have to be done?
It's annual now,
It's
correct?
annual now, yeah.
It is now?
20
Updates.
is the last we did.
Yes.
In
But
December.
they have added some new requirements to it, so that this one will be a little bit more of a robust update, and then annually, you could just update what has been done over the past year to keep the plan moving forward.
Concur.
We had submitted a voluntary corrective action plan commitment letter in December of last year. And part of it was to become compliant with the transition document and the Title VI implementation plan, so that would keep us in compliance there as well. If you remember, you had some ADA issues just shortly before I was here.
If there's no questions, I would like to have the council approve this plan.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Go to a comprehensive plan. You should have that in your packet. Last evening, the plan commission met, reviewed the comprehensive plan, the zoning comprehensive plan for the town of Cloverdale. And I know Eric's not been involved in this. But HWC has been contracted by the county to provide a comprehensive plan for towns of Russellville, Rushdale, Bainbridge, and Cloverdale, as well as the county. That process has been going on for about a year. We've been meeting throughout, had a meeting here. The plan commission did review it. There were comments back. HWC made some changes to it. And last night they voted unanimous to send a favorable recommendation to the council. And you should have a resolution in your packet that we received earlier today indicating that you will approve the comprehensive plan. This is the first step. The next step will be actually implementation, or actually reviewing and implementing the new zoning ordinance within towns. But this is just the very first step. We're a long way from being finished on this. I'd say we're probably a year away, so this is just the first step.
I won't speak for Greg, but I was part of that meeting last night and impressed with the plan, so I'll make a motion to go ahead.
I'll second that.
All in favor for resolution 2023-14?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is hydrant flushing. We spoke about this a few months ago. We do have hydrant flushing scheduled starting next Tuesday and Wednesday. We will also go back the Tuesday and Wednesday following that, the Tuesday, Wednesday following that, and if necessary, the Tuesday and Wednesday following that. So it'll be 4 straight weeks of hydrant flushing in the entire town. We selected Tuesday, Wednesday for a couple of reasons. One, that gives our guys a chance to get in here and deal with any issues that may have happened over the weekend, so Monday will be for whatever we need to deal with. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll flush, but that'll give us Thursday, Friday to make any repairs if flushing causes any damage. It's not uncommon when you flush, that's when we find problems. There's pressure and sometimes lack of pressure on lines that have not had that change in pressure for quite some time. So we could have, actually I'm not gonna say we could have, we will have some main breaks when this happens.
And this is starting when?
Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, one
Go
thing,
to when?
potentially 4 weeks, so 8 days. That's what we're hoping. We've kind of estimated that's what the length of time it's gonna take. It'll take full days to do. If you're not familiar with what flushing is, we'll shut valves off in certain areas of town. We'll open the hydrants, just let the water flow. The purpose is to get any rust that may be in the water out. I anticipate a lot of rust. It's not uncommon. Every water utility has it. That any rust that is settled on the bottom will start to float up into the water. Perfectly safe. There's nothing going to be harmful. It's just going to be a discoloration of your water. So people will see colored or rusty colored water, or may even look at darkish brown, not dark brown, but light brown. We're going to get a lot of phone calls here. We anticipate that. We are going to have a chemical here that can be used if people happen to wash their clothes, white clothes, during this period of time. Although we've notified people, we're notifying via reach. We put on utility bills, and our intention is to send a letter out as well, encouraging people not to wash their, especially their white clothes, on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. There are going to be people that do it anyway, or forget, but we'll have, it's a rust remover that we'll have here if people want to use it, or you can use one from, you can buy Dollar General. But just to prevent that from ever happening, we encourage people not to wash their clothes on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's why we're trying to give people plenty of notice. Again, the water's perfectly safe. You can drink it. It's just not going to look pretty. And hopefully we're going to have it done in 3 weeks. It could be a 4th week. We'll just see how it plays out.
My only thing I want to bring up is starting the 24th through the 30th at the arena is the IBA National Finals. So both barns are sold out, plus 100 portables. Every campus coffee is sold out.
What date is it you say?
They'll move in on 24th and won't leave till the 30th or the 1st. So both barns sold out, 100 portable stalls, probably 200 tie-outs. You're looking at probably 1,000 horses here. Every campus coffee has sold out.
And we could potentially work around that area.
I just-
It's only going to be in the areas where we're actually
And that's
flushing.
good. I
So
just
it's not
want to
going to
make
be
it,
a town-wide thing.
make it very aware that
Sure.
there will be a lot of, every hotel is sold out. I mean,
Sure. What's the event?
it's the International Bear Racing Association National. So.
What's this term called, hydrostatic flushing, is that what you said?
Hydrant.
Hydrant, fire hydrant.
Hydrant.
Fire hydrant.
And we'll, our plans are also, we're getting some mats to put down. Typically, when you flush hydrants, there's a lot of water that comes out of a hydrant, and there are some people that put their landscaping right there next to the hydrants. There may be mulch, or, and not much water is gonna flush away ground, so we're gonna put mats down and try to mitigate any damage we can to property. I anticipate it happening. And you're gonna have water running down the streets, and it's just not a fun thing to do. But it does need to be done on an annual basis, and we talked about this a few months ago, and we put this in the plan, we will do this every year from now on.
And I'm good with it, I just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
make everyone aware of it.
And from now on out, it won't be nearly as bad. If we're doing this on a regular basis, the rest won't be nearly as bad as it is going to be this time. But we're anticipating to, but we're gonna have to manage the amount of water we flush in a day, because our tower, we've gotta keep it a reasonable level to provide water. But again, the water, there's nothing wrong with drinking the water, it's just not drug-free.
And that's my point. You got every
Oh,
hotel
yeah.
sold out, every camping spot we have sold out, and they're looking at rusty water.
Yeah, and
Might not looking on.
I think we can avoid that area, because it's only a block or two areas that you're flushing in, or you're gonna have that. It's not gonna, if you're flushing in the south end, it's not gonna affect your water.
Okay.
But, so we could probably accommodate that.
Okay, just make sure everyone knows.
Thanks for the update on that.
Stormwater project, that's an exciting day for Cloverdale. Last week, the town was awarded a $600,000 CDBG grant awarded by Okra, Office of Community and Rural Affairs. That application was submitted by our grant administrator Mike Kleinpeter, and then the preliminary engineering done by HWC on that as well. I do want to run this by the Stormwater Board, because ultimately they're the ones that started this project, but we're trying to get this thing moving. So I do want you guys to at least consider the two contracts that we have tonight, but also the Stormwater Board needs to consider them as well, since they're going to be funding the project. They've got about $400,000 of the little over $1 million project funded by the Stormwater Board. So not only would you guys approve it, but it's my opinion the Stormwater Board should approve it as well, because it's a pretty big expenditure for them. But we do have two agreements, because we are using local funds and our local match. We do not have to procure a grant administrator. We can select who we want. That doesn't mean you can't go through the procurement process. It's just a lengthy process. HWC did do the preliminary engineering on the project, and Mike Kleinpeter is also the one that did the application and ultimately got us awarded those funds. So there are two agreements in your packets for your consideration. But again, I do want both of these to go to the Stormwater Board as well for their approval. Eric, do you want to?
If you provide the contracts for us from the engineering side, that's all I was going to present. I've got a cover letter for that.
Maybe I don't think we did pictures yet.
Okay.
The Mike Kleinpeter's was.
Okay. I've got, ours has not been reviewed by the attorney, so I'm going to give them a copy. And I'll give you a copy of here as a cover letter for our agreement. To touch on what Jason said, the grant has been awarded. There is a timeline for the project. Oprah wants the money spent as quickly as possible, so they kind of put you on a schedule. The project will need a bid by March 1st of next year. So survey and design will be completed between now and February, and then the project would bid next February, and then construction will be next spring and summer. So, be happy to answer any questions on it anybody might have.
Give us a second here, okay? And Richard, please chime in if you need me to.
And what are these labeled on the tractor?
The one in there is agreement for professional services, grant administration services. That's the Mike Kleinpeter contract.
And Brandon, that was just multiple copies. of
That's
that.
what I'm just double checking.
Yeah.
Those are, we just got these contracts right there.
But they're not in the pack.
No, I think we're still on there. This stuff's all kind of together pretty quickly. All of this, both of these contracts were calculated in the grant application. I assume that the amount is what?
Yeah, they match what was in the budget.
If I'm correct, HWC is the only quote we have for this.
Yes, because we do have to procure it, because we're using our local funds.
Yes.
That doesn't mean we can't.
Just make sure.
But there is a process for going through if you chose to do so.
HWC was one to put together all.
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure there wasn't anything else we need to look at.
Oh, okay.
Do you see any issue with us moving forward?
No, all I would ask is, I don't think I looked at this.
You've not, that's why, if you want, maybe approve it contingent on.
Yeah, you could
review.
approve it tonight based on my final review. It
We're not
looks
gonna
like
start
the-
tomorrow. So,
Do I?
I said we're not gonna start tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so I have some time.
But as soon as our survey crews are ready, we'd like to get started.
Okay, how long you need? Friday.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve it as of council review, end of business Friday. Second.
Hang on.
But, you know, it is my birthday tomorrow, so.
Fair enough.
I will sacrifice my day to celebrate.
It's good, because
We got two more.
we pay you well, so it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Church time and
You got no.
Yeah, birthday's double.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Lawyers and trees. I would give you a chance
Do you
to.
want me to hold off on signing this then until,
This way.
what I'll do is I can,
Jason can scan it to me once you sign it. That'll be fine.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The other contract with that is my client visa, same scenario. We can procure services from a different grant administrator, but Mike had put this application in, and we didn't get it funded. And I think it was funded primarily because of council.
So we need a motion on that?
Yes.
I would recommend the same thing.
Same thing.
That he would do.
If he's the one that got us to the dance, I'll make a motion to go with him pending council approval by end of business Friday.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Can I say one last thing, and I'll be done, I promise. We actually have our county council president giving this today, Stephanie Campbell, in the back. I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's not often we get dignitaries here to witness our council meetings, and she is working with a consulting firm as well. And we chatted a few weeks ago, so she may be coming to chat with you guys at some point.
So Stephanie, I've told Bo multiple times he needs to come to a meeting, so.
I will
just
pass on the
get-
message.
Get on it.
I will do that.
So thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Is that it?
Going.
All right, we are going to move to the monthly reports. Council members are all in your packets. If you have any questions, please reach out to Kelly.
Make a motion to approve the monthly report.
My tablet just a second. Can you pull up resolution 2023? Thank you. Resolution 2023-12. That is the transfer, the match transfer for Bennington Way. If there are no questions, I'm asking council for motion and approval to pass that.
Motion. Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. And that brings us up to same topic, same subject, different resolution, 2023-13, CCMG transfer for Beagle Club.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And Scott, I do apologize, there is two copies for resolution. I would appreciate it. Old business.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an agreement from Bose McKinney Evans for this. He is a bond counsel that was chosen for the Lieber project. He's actually already started working on this project. I thought it would be good if we approved his agreement. I don't know what's happened, but this is the first bond counsel agreement I reviewed, I think, in my career, where there wasn't just a flat fee. They're actually gonna do it by the hour, which should be a tremendous savings to everybody. But if I could get a motion to approve the Bose McKinney Evans bond counsel agreement, that'd be great.
What project is this related to?
Lieber.
And the wastewater here in town.
Yeah.
So,
And so, my opinion, no offense, because I know you are one, how is hourly versus,
Not taken.
how is hourly versus
Well, normally it's like,
flat fee for an attorney, anything?
well, so the theory is you should pay for work that's done. And that's what this is. On a flat fee, you're just paying maybe. So,
Do you, in your expert opinion, have any idea what this should cost?
I don't think I'm allowed to have an expert opinion on anything by Indiana laws on. Who's that chuckle? But my opinion based on experience is, on just a straight up bond deal, this could be, I see a flat fee of 30,000. So I don't know how much time's involved. I just know with a flat fee, I've also seen it go to 50. That's why I was happy to see it hourly, because we can kind of have an idea as we go.
I think we need to have
Would you rather have a flat fee?
no, I just think we need to have a shut off at some point. You know,
Well, the problem is.
you're thinking you're 30 to 50 and all of a sudden.
Well, I'm
you
just
get-
saying, I've seen it throughout my career, numbers of 30 to 50. This is kind of like, once the plane's up in the air, you really want to shut off the engine. And we need the assistance of Bose McKinney in this situation. And I've worked with them on other projects, I trust their work, and I've worked with Dennis, their experts here, just because of my faith in his abilities.
I get that, respect that. My only thing is, you're saying 30 to 50 and all of a sudden we're.
I don't even know.
Above that. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But all of a sudden we're at hourly and we're getting,
Yeah, I can't tell you, I can't sit here and tell you how much it's gonna cost. And that's probably why he put it in hourly, just because he doesn't know.
You pay for what you get. If he's working, we're paying. If he's not, we're not. So I think it's a fair way of billing rather than some number. I mean, it's paying for services rendered.
I-
If the service is rendered, we pay for it.
This is the first time I've seen the hourly on the bond.
well, that's what scares me.
It doesn't scare me.
in our budget, Eric, do you know offhand what we have for bond counsel in that?
I think we had budgeted 50,000
Yeah.
because we had to have a budget in the preliminary engineer report for the project. I think for bond council, we had 50,000. I would probably agree with Richard. I've not seen one that's hourly. I think there's a good chance it would save you money.
Yeah, oh,
Well, if we had budgeted 50,000, then I'll make a motion to approve up to 50,000.
If not, second?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, I don't know, this is no other than, but Eric is here, he can answer me on the process. If you want to hear what's happening with that project.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The DOT provider, the contractor has provided the guaranteed maximum price. We have provided that to the financial advisors, FSG, Financial Solutions Group, and they are working through those numbers for any potential rate impact. They are then going to work with the Indiana Finance Authority to see what the financing package is going to be offered to the town. Lieber, the portion that is Lieber, should be 100% grant funded. The question is, how much grant funding will the IFA offer the town? So that's what needs to be determined. Next meeting, we should have some information to present to you. Right now, they're looking at a potential closing with the Indiana Finance Authority in the middle of November. So we're kind of working backward from that with the timeline that those Mr. Otten's put together. So over the course of the next 6 weeks, some of the financial pictures of the project will be clear. I'm sure we'll probably even maybe need to have some special meetings to kind of go through some of those. As far as our end of design is complete, permits are in process, so we're basically waiting on the financial piece to come into focus, and then hopefully we'll be under construction November, December.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, brings us to new business. Mr. Dennis Flory.
Okay. I'm Dennis Flory. We recently purchased the former Smith Farm Machinery property over here on North Main Street. It consists of both 51 and 53 North Main Street. What we're coming to tonight to talk to you about is we have a few questions, and we are investing outside of the purchase of the property another $250,000 and putting in a new business or new building with a retail front and fixing up the existing building rather than tear down something that's been part of this town for a long time and its history of this town. I've already got all my bids on that building, and the work has started already. But what we're asking is the council to consider putting in for either TIF money to assist with projects like this or other new businesses in town, or facade grants or something like that, to kind of help the business owners improve important parts of this town. I've done a little bit of research, and I know that in the past, the town has pursued these facade grants. I've seen stuff dated all the way back to 2006 where the town has pursued this stuff. And what I understand is a facade grant will cover the first 10 feet of the building, and that's it. And if we have tax increment financing available that we can possibly look at assisting in, consider past that first 10 feet of the building. That's what we're kind of wanting to know, if the town would pursue that. Also, another thing that I would ask is, currently the sewer and the water line runs into 51 North Main Street, and then it wides over to 53 North Main Street. And we are considering putting in a new service on 53 North Main Street, but we would ask the possibility of waiving the tap fees on that as well with the investments that we're making.
So just so I'm clear, that's the current Jeff Rich auction building?
That's currently what Jeff Rich leases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Over the past 4 years, we've operated a Facebook Live auction page out of there when COVID hit. We used to do in-person auctions and let Jeff sell our stuff for us. We buy liquidation truckloads of merchandise from the major box stores and the retailers, and we sort out the junk and we try to offer really good stuff. We donate to, for the last 2 years, we've held benefit auctions for the Cloverdale Township Fire Department, and we'll be doing our second one for the Cataract Fire Department here during the dinner as well. And we help support the fire departments back, or the police departments back in blue. We help with the kids' schools and the little leagues. Our position on that stuff is heroes and kids, we're willing, you know, we try to invest a lot back into those.
And thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem. And the other, you know, we did our auction down there.
Yes, sir.
We really enjoyed having that opportunity instead of being in the back of that building there. So,
Dennis, let me make sure I understand your questions, because I think you rattled off 3 of them here,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken.
pardon me.
It's okay. Number 1, you're asking council to review and possibly take into consideration on waiving your tap fee
Yes.
for a new construction project that you,
Yes.
when is the time frame on that?
Well, we found out that we have to go through the Department of Homeland Security for our permit process. So we're working on that right now with, getting that done. Originally, our plan was to have the trusses here the first week of October for that new building, but we've had to push that back because of the going through the Department of Homeland Security. So, yeah.
And revisit for us the 10-foot, if that is the case, you're asking for an additional what?
Okay. The facade grant just covers the first 10 foot, and what I've been learning today in the last couple of days is when this process took place, like in 2006, 2016, 2017, there were some proposals done through the town, and it got all the way to the tail end of the meeting, or the tail end of the process of getting the grants, and they were told that they'd be attaching to the property owner's property to get the work done. There would be like a lien attached or something like that. And that was a surprise at that time frame to those people who had been pursuing that it entailed all of that. What I understand with the grant is it covers the first 10 feet of the building. So anything, windows, walls, roofs, anything behind that, it covers none of that. That's all going to be expensive, and we'll have to incur. And the particular building over here that we're looking at, you know, with the buildings that were down the street, the fascias started falling off of, you know, our fascias, that building has been neglected for a long time. And that fascia, you know, that fascia's got to be fixed as well, so.
If the town was to move forward, you're clear that it is a 75-25 split, not split, but you would be responsible for that 25.
I understand that. That's in my budget approval. All the financing is done, the property's closed on. You know, like I said, I have $200,000 in that budget to put the new building and fix the other building, so.
I want the council to know that Dennis and I, this isn't the first time we've talked about it, and I would love to see businesses in town work with you to make this grant not more fruitful, but at the end of the day, that's what it would be. I think it would be, and this is just my opinion, I think if we could get more businesses to join this charge, this what Dennis is after, it would definitely be worth the town's time and resources. That's my 2 cents on it.
Brandon, I have one other business owner here who I've talked to and is on board with us as far as the procedure.
Would you like to stand up and introduce yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Kelly Nichols, and we are opening the coffee shop across the street. So Dennis came and talked to me about the facade grant, because that's actually phase 2. After we get open, is taking off the ugly thing that wraps around the top, so it opens up the transom windows inside and things like that. And my uncle, or my cousin now, owns a construction company in Indianapolis and was telling me about facade grants, and so when he brought it up, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I really am an information seeker at this point and would be interested in. The building was built in 1920, it was Sinclair gas station, and so we're excited about being part of the community and that. So Nichols has been in Putnam County since 1824, so I'd say we're pretty invested.
Well, Kelly, I can tell you, the town is excited for you to open your business.
We are just 4 months, we sat still, waiting for Homeland Security to tell us what they wanted from us to get our permit. And so it was like 4 months, and we're 150,000 in it already, and that 4 months sitting still, we didn't know if we were gonna be able to do it. We're doing it ourselves, and so it's been a real chore. But we are so excited, and we can't wait. Soft opening sometime in October.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to tell both of you, just because I make my living off of this exit. My number one complaint that I hear is there's nothing to do here. And the fact that you two are stepping up and doing this for the community, and I mean, we're literally bidding 2 world finals horse shows right now to get them to come, and they'd be 2 weeks out of the year. Every hotel, every camp spot show sold out. That's our number one complaint, so I just want to go on record, like, thank you for both of you, what you're doing for the town.
Well, I appreciate that, and that weighs into our decision process to invest in this town as your commitment to this town as well.
We're not going backwards,
So,
promise you
no,
that.
we're all about going forward. And that's the thing, if we could work with the town and the county, or whoever assistance we can get, whether it be tax abatements or whatever we can get for assistance, small business owners like her and I, we would really appreciate the guidance and the assistance in making this a better town for all of us.
The coffee shop's great, because everyone asks why we don't have a Starbucks here, so.
I'm just so excited. I can't wait. So I have tea for Jason. He's not a coffee drinker, so.
I'm not either, so you can do that.
Oh, very good. So we'll do all different kinds of teas and smoothies, and eventually I'll bake, but.
Does council have any other questions for Dennis?
I think we just have something to add.
I'm Bob Steele, and we have 9 and 11 just south of where you are, and I couldn't be happier that people are just trying to look into what can be done. We bought 9 and 11 not because we wanted to put a business in there, but because we wanted to improve the town.
Right.
And anything that is a cooperative where everybody's working together, count us in, so.
Bob, thank you. So Dennis, let us work jointly with Jason. I think I've made kind of a joke that it's government moves slow, but we understand what your desires and intentions are at this point.
Right.
So let us take it from here, and myself and Jason will be in touch with you.
Well, I know that you're constrained by the government timeframe and all that. Our timeframe is we have a 1-year construction loan that we've gotten approved for, so that's our time constraints that we're looking at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Bob, you said that's 9 and 11, right?
Yes.
Right?
9 and 11, yes. And we've struggled, we've got some roof problems and things which we'll be working on again tomorrow, but we can't really do construction. Plus, we were also looking at the stormwater and different things like that, because we needed to know what was going on there before we do what we're doing. But no,
And the facade's gonna have to be.
the facade has got some issues and things because it was previously redone and it's leaking down through the inside. And anyway, it's going to be done one way or another.
Thank you. All right, elected officials, 2024 salaries. First, I would like to bring to council's attention on Kelly Manners and her salary. For the record, I can say with certainty it's been 1 year, possibly 2 years that Kelly has gone without a pay raise. I would like to ask this council to consider giving her a much-deserved pay raise. I will then open this up now for questions or guidance from council.
I'll make a motion to give Kelly a 5% pay raise. It's been 2 years, so.
So, for the record, her current annual salary is $44,290. if we follow Councilmember Rice's recommendation, 5% brings us to,
46,504.50.
does anybody have any other recommendations, or do we want to second this motion?
I will tell you, you have one of the best clerk treasurers I've worked with.
She goes thanklessly, and for everyone, she bust her butt for the town. Wish we could give her 20, but I will recommend the 5 for now.
Great.
I will second the 5.
Do you have any questions before I send it?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor for a 5% increase for Kelly Manners?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. Okay, that brings us to council members. Currently, council members get paid $5,304 annually. For the record, council members did receive a pay raise or pay increase last year. For the record, it is my opinion that council members do not get a raise this year, but I will now open it up to the floor for council members for suggestions or comments.
My opinion is, we give Kelly a raise. We've tried our best to get our police officers in the best possible position that we can, according to budget, and keeping the town as safe and good as we possibly can. So my personal opinion is also we do not, as council, take a pay raise this year.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to ask for all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. That fun part's over with. Office furniture. In your package, you'll see a quote. This is to coincide with the construction that is happening inside the utility office, that will be happening inside the utility office, I apologize. Also, along with the quote, are pictures in your packets. Asking council for review and approval in the amounts of $9,069.98 for new office furniture. I will also let the council know that this was budgeted in the amount of $10,000 last year, so it is slightly under that. If anybody does not have any questions, I would like to ask council for approval.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Before we get to citizens' comments and open it up to the public, there are just a few items I would like to highlight. As Mr. Hull mentioned, Back to Blue Chili Fest is happening October 28th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at Town Hall. There is a 5K that is going to happen through town, and also a cornhole tournament that's going to happen in a business here. So if you have any information, please reach out to Adam Hall. Follow the new Cloverdale Police Department Facebook page. Looking for a great turnout this year for that fundraiser. Number 2, Learning Service Day is scheduled for Friday, October 27th. If you or you know of anybody that lives in town that might use a little bit of help or need a little bit of help, raking leaves, cleaning out gutters, small projects right around a residence or business, please contact Cloverdale High School and give them that information as they're spearheading this. We're just spreading the message for them, okay? Do you have any, Jason, do you want to add anything about the Learning Service Day? Okay. Last thing I have, the utility office will be closed September 28th and 29th. So please, if you need to take care of something business-wise, do it before or after those dates. Okay. Stardust HOA?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, sir. Open it up to the public for comments, questions? Don?
I don't know if I missed any of you folks that attended the pilot reopening or not, but I was there, and the governor was there, and the lieutenant governor was there, and our Congressman Jim Baird was there, and the representative from our senator's office was there, but not on the podium and not on the agenda. But they had a great time, they had a good turnout, lots of farmers there that are guaranteed now a continuation of a sale of their corn to the establishment there, and they have reopened that and are going to have 50+ employees there, and they still have a banner out on 231 advertising for additional help. And if I missed you at that meeting, I'm sorry, but there certainly was an excellent turnout and a very good project for the community, and a real big boost for the community to have that facility now being reopened and utilized fully to its full extent that it can be very productive. So
It is a great thing.
yes, it is. It's a great asset to Cloverdale.
Yep. 100% in agreement with you. Anybody else?
For your local paper for coverage on that event.
And that would be what?
That would be me.
And you represent?
I represent. I was there.
He's with the Banner Graphic, for those who do not know.
Little tidbit for you. I always say we can check with Brent Shagley and Lowry. You can also say www.wselffirm.com. Put that in when you're trying to play. So but it's amazing if you say Brent Shagley and Lowry and not the kind of stupid people.
Right.
And wselffirm.com is just for all your needs.
Okay. There are no other questions or comments. We're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everybody, for showing up as well.
I'm gonna go.
When I was yakking over the top Hopefully not, hopefully sorry, but it may go. What do you message notification now too? It should be on your bill. Well, you think I mean, we're trying to notify everybody. Somebody put a new
I'm trying. Thank you. Some people get it confused. It's either with Michigan colors or Pacers colors. I don't know. Pick which one is in your favor.